Hi, my name is Bo Cisco, the founder of the Behavioral Analysis Training Group, specializing in behavioral awareness for law enforcement in high-risk environments. Today we're going to look at a video out of Cleveland, Ohio. It was captured by one of the local media outlets in which an officer conducts a traffic stop, and it's a different type of traffic stop. It's not the type where you turn your lights on and the person sees you and pulls over. This is a traffic stop where before he was able to pull them over in the traditional manner, the offender pulled into a gas station. So you have a second where the person exits the motorcycle, turns around, looks at the officer, and jumps. What I'd like you to do is look at the movements and the behaviors of the individual for approximately the next 7 seconds until they move off camera. And then we will discuss it afterwards.
There. Your driver's license. Your driver's license, please.
What's wrong?
First off, your plate's improperly displayed. It has to be displayed left or right, not upside down or sideways.
Oh, okay. I thought they showed the plates for that.
The law says they have to be able to read them from behind.
I just got it out, sir.
It's your motorcycle endorsement.
That I don't have.
Then the other question is why you're riding it then.
Sir,
You don't have a helmet on, you don't have a license to operate it, and you subject yourself to being arrested. Is that what you want?
No, sir, I don't.
Just stand by your bike. Take out your insurance documents.
This video I find to be especially good for training because it shows how fast things can happen. And if you don't teach and coach yourself and train yourself to look for what's in front of you, you're going to miss it. This person exited the motorcycle. In approximately 7 seconds, they were standing within arm's distance of the officer. Now, what did you see in those 7 seconds? And how would you deal with this individual if you just all of a sudden, at that moment, decided they have to arrest this person and take them into custody by yourself? Part of reading behavioral analysis and understanding the behaviors is being able to predict what's going to happen, not to keep you out of violence. I mean, of course, that's a goal. We want to stay in an area where we don't have to engage in violence. But we know this is part of the job. So the goal of this type of training is to put yourself in the best possible position of advantage when violence happens, so that we're ready for it. And if you're trained and you understand what you're doing, you should come through it okay. Because understanding when it's going to happen is going to help you preparing for when it happens. Now, let's get to this video. What did we see? In 7 seconds, I see an extremely volatile situation. But it went okay because the officer wrote a ticket and let the person go. Now, I saw indicators. I saw 3 indicators that gave me great fear if I was dealing with this person that it could go bad at any moment. And now we understand how body language works. The impulses in the head are driving the behaviors throughout your body. Sometimes they're conscious ones where I say, move my hand, and it moves my hand. Other times it's screaming for me to do things inside that I don't do because I know I'm not supposed to. Now, keeping that concept in mind, let's think about what we just saw. The motorcycle driver got off the bike, saw a police officer. Now, there's 3 things that happened after that. And I'm going to replay the video, and I'm going to show you what those 3 things are so that you can understand what just happened.
There. Your driver's license. Your driver's license, please.
What's wrong?
First off, your plate's improperly displayed. It has to be displayed left or right, not upside down or sideways.
Oh, okay. I thought they showed the plates for that.
The law says they have to be able to read them from behind.
I just got it out, so
It's your motorcycle endorsement.
that I don't have.
Then the other question is why you're riding it then.
Sir,
You don't have a helmet on, you don't have a license to operate it. You subject yourself to being arrested. Is that what you want?
No, sir, I don't.
Just stand by your bike. Take out the insurance documents.
Now let's discuss the 3 items in which I saw. After the motorcycle rider sees the police officer, he jumps, which is understandable. All of a sudden he turns around, there's a police officer there. Makes sense. But the first thing he did after that, the first item that I find extremely troubling, is he put the key back in the ignition. So that's telling me something in his mind is screaming he needs to get out of there. His body language told me this is what's going on in his mind. Now he thought better of it, because the officer's out of his car, he knows he's not going to get away. So he comes to his right mind again. And he backs up away from the bike, but he looks back at the bike 3 times. At first he doesn't take his eyes off it, then he looks back again. The officer engages him, and he puts his hand on the back pocket of his pants, turns his body, and then almost walks sideways toward the officer. So the 3 things I see were, he put the key back in the ignition, stares at the bike a few more times, telling me that this is still in his mind. He's still thinking about that bike, the best way to get away. When the officer asks him about a license, he instinctively puts his hand on his area, presumably where the wallet would be, and then turns his body away from the officer. Now, what is that telling us? Could be telling us one of 2 things. That's where the wallet is, and he does not want to give him the wallet. Or that's where something else is, and he's trying to hide it from the officer. Could be drugs, could be a weapon, could be a wallet, could be anything. The important thing to remember is, though, that turning showed me that he wants to hide it from the officer's sight, which therefore makes it a danger to the officer in some way, shape, or form. This all happened in 7 seconds. After 7 seconds, where is he? He's standing right next to the officer. Now, a little background on this video. This is Ariel Castro. If you're not familiar, he was the individual in Cleveland, Ohio, who had 2 girls locked in his basement for a decade. This video was taken in 2008, and around this time, one of the girls should be giving birth, or close to giving birth to a child, which she'll raise for the next 4 or 5 years in this basement. So even though this traffic stop ended without an arrest, without a gun battle, blazing fight across the parking lot, it ended with just traffic enforcement, and the person left. The reason for that is that he may not have been going to be arrested then. It was a simple traffic infraction. If you listen to what the audio was saying, he had his license plate improperly displayed, and he did not have a motorcycle endorsement. Sure, most jurisdictions you could go to jail for that, but the odds are probably unlikely that you'd see jail time. Most likely you'd see a traffic citation or a criminal cite with a court date. But most of the time you'd leave. The reason this didn't go bad is simple. The officer didn't try and arrest him. Because let's think of what happened to Ariel Castro. He was arrested, he was found guilty, and he was given the death penalty. Just say he goes to jail. He may not know that. He's a civilian. He may not know what the tolerances of law enforcement are, the fact that we probably wouldn't take someone to jail for this under most cases. He doesn't know that. So a simple overnight trip to jail could be a death sentence for him if those girls got out or realized no one came home that night. And let's just think about that for a second. If he thought the officer was going to take him to jail, is it smarter for him to kill the officer and take the chance to try and get away? We will never know. He committed suicide in jail, but that is something to think about. It's also important to think about that just because there's no threat that you can see or articulate in front of you doesn't mean there's no threat elsewhere, peripheral to your encounter with this person. It's important to watch their behaviors. It's important to see what's going through their mind. And it's important to be ready for when they act on them, you are ready for it. Thank you very much. For more information, please visit my website at www.behavioralanalysistraining.com. Again, my name is Bo Cisco, and more videos will come. Thank you, and have a good day.